Good morning and welcome on to this week's edition of Insight on Impact Africa Television IATV and Impact Business Radio IBR 92.5 FM, your station of choice. On Insight, we look at topical issues in the society. We highlight them for your proper understanding so that we can all be on the same page as Nigerians. When we started this program last week, we asked ourselves a number of questions. Where are we now? Where are we going? And how do we get to our destination? It is still in continuation of that we are going ahead this week, and we'll be talking on another issue which would certainly generate some conversation in the studio this morning.
Thank you so much, Femi, for your time on the program. So on the program today, we want to look at building on a faulty foundation. So if we have highlighted all those challenges of our nationhood last week, let's look at what we have done as a nation. And of course, we have with us in the studio this morning also Deacon Olabi Oladejo. A very good morning to you.
Thank you, Anne.
So let's take it off from there, sir. Deacon Olabi Oladejo is a public affairs analyst and a public affairs commentator. On the 31st of March 1953, that gentleman, known as Anthony Eromosele Enahoro, moved the motion for independence on the floor of the Federal House of Representatives then. Enahoro was just under 30 years. It was 29 years plus, but moving the motion for independence then on March 31, 1953. But when he moved this motion for independence and self-government by 1956, that all the constituent parts should be independent by 1956, self-government. History records for us that the northern members of the House, led by Ahmadu Bello, walked out of the House of Representatives, and that marked the beginning of a faulty relationship, as it were, between the component parts of the country. Later that year, in May 1953, another young man, known as Samuel Ladoke Akintola, led a delegation of Yoruba elders and southern leaders to the north to try and appeal to, not to coerce them, to convince them about the need for self-government in Nigeria. But what arose from there was that they were booed out of Kano, where they went for this meeting, and there was a crisis after that which led to the death of about 36 people thereafter. And so from there we've had these, do we call it, mutual suspicions on the part of both the north, the south, the east, and the west. And on the program today, we want to look at this issue that Nigeria, did we build it on a faulty foundation? Was it built on even a wrong foundation? What actually is wrong with the foundation of this country? Remember, the Bible tells us that where the foundation is weak, what can the righteous do? So, Deacon Oladejo, let's take it off from here. Did we build on a faulty foundation? Did we build on a wrong foundation?
Whether faulty or wrong, to me, is the same effect. But I do not think anybody that understand what Nigeria was or what each ethnic nationalities were and what we are today without the fact that there is something wrong with the foundation. Faulty. As a matter of fact, Femi Adesina, former
special advisor.
That should be 2017 or so. Call it false foundation. Right? The idea here is this. You cannot build on nothing. So the foundation of Nigeria, as it were, became faulty because the intentions of all parties appear to be different.
The north, the east,
The
the
north,
west.
the east, even the British people
The intentions were different.
About
the merging.
Everybody have their motive. So when you are seeing something, what you see may not be what I am seeing. Okay, the story you just told now, Enahoro made a contribution. He made a motion that Nigeria should be independent by 1956. The North countered and said they are not ready. That it should be as soon as practicable.
Yes.
Which is indeterminate. It's not reliable. As soon as practicable could be anytime. 1 million years. And it was in response to that there was crisis. Again, don't forget, last week we were saying how this started. In 1950, there was a conference. What you are referring to now was in Lagos. There was a conference in Ibadan where some demands were made.
By who?
By each
group.
Each of the regions made their demands. This is what we want, this is what we want. And there are so many contentious issues. So by 1953, that he is referring to, they were still unable to solve most of these questions. And the North was suspicious. Part of the problem is that they say they are educationally backward. They don't have enough personnel to man their civil service. So they don't want the South to come and dominate their civil service and blah, blah, blah. Right? So they were not ready. But the South said they were ready. Now, they went, Akintola led a team to Kano,
yes,
trying to organize some people to tell them, look, it's in our interest to be independent and whatever. But before they even started the meeting, they arrived on Thursday to start the meeting on Friday.
Yes.
Before they started the meeting, there was crisis. The hotel where they lodged, by afternoon of Friday, they were already stoning the entire hotel that they must come out. The people that lodged there. So that was the crisis. But the aftermath of it, Littleton, who was then the Secretary of State for the colony,
yes,
issued a statement, a memo, that said these guys cannot live together. That what he saw, he was amazed that these guys are clearly different set of people. They cannot live together. But he crowned it by saying they cannot afford to disappoint the North.
He said the British cannot afford to disappoint the North, meaning
they made up their mind to be on the side of the North, whatever happens.
Okay, so perhaps we even need to ask this question and answer it right away. The British came to where?
The British came to Nigeria. I mean, they were in the South. A different group were in the North. That's the basic truth. They are Britons looking for the same thing, trading, as it were, Royal Niger Company. Okay? So they were in the North, they were in the South. But different groups. But they are all Britons. I mean, it's like 3 different companies working. When Lugard came entering through Northwest, he was then, I think, a captain also. When he went through Northwest, they organized an army to
confront
fight
him, yes.
So, but you see, the real trouble here is this. As at this time, there was a gentleman, Lieutenant Walter
Egerton,
who was here. He was the one that did the railway and whatever. He was a shrewd businessman. He believed in development. And that rubbed off on us.
On the South.
On the South. Okay? So, they did the railway, they did all this, and they encouraged the churches to be building schools because they needed clerks, they needed people they can
for the civil service,
for their civil service. Okay, so they encourage education by encouraging the churches to be training clerks, essentially, just be able to write your name and document a few things. So that was the foundation. But because these guys are coming from different angles, okay, by the time the memo, Lugard wrote a memo 1905,
yes,
saying that he's tired of asking for grants. They should merge north and south.
So there was prosperity in the south.
I've just told you now that the south was busy building
and developing.
infrastructures.
The north was getting support from Britain.
The north was getting support. They were getting grants. I think at the time, it got to 360 something pounds, which to them was too much. So, are we trading? The companies are making a loss, and your counterpart in the south, I mean, at the time they declared up to 1,000 or so, 1,000 something pounds as surplus. So, consistently for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, they need support. So Lugard said, no. Let's do this. Let's merge these people. But he was ignored. And he left Nigeria then. Okay? But Egerton and his group were moving up. Okay? I mean, there was even the controversy that do we move the railway
up north?
No. They agreed that it should, because they need to find a way of hauling whatever, cotton and all those things,
to the
which
ports.
is cheaper and better. I mean, you can carry. So they need to haul it down to the south. Okay? But they found tin in Bauchi side, mineral resources. What they can get from Kano was cotton. To Egerton, why should I leave tin and be chasing cotton? He wanted railway to go to Bauchi. But Lugard and his group wanted Kano, and that became another issue. So, in a nutshell, the foundation had always been a terrible, let me use that word, a terrible misconception of the motive of each group. So, I mean, and that's how the foundation was laid. During the crisis that I spoke about, there was this sharp disagreement that made it impossible for each group to trust each other.
And that's the genesis of the whole thing.
That's the genesis. Where there is no trust, there can't be good relationship. Up to today, when they hold meeting in the morning, they are looking at the mouth, they are looking at the eyes, because they are not sure if he says come, whether he is talking about C-O-M-E or whatever. We are not sure of the words. And you know, once there is that mistrust, distrust, okay, there can be good relationship.
So it was in this condition that both the northern and southern protectorates were merged.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving forward, how did the nationalists, Ahmadu Bello of this world, Awolowo of this world, you know, the southerner of Sokoto, how did they receive it? Okay, so we're talking of this mutual suspicion, but how did they carry on?
They didn't carry on anything. Each one was defending his interest. They didn't carry on anything. I mean, now there is, last week we established the fact that one of the contentions was Lagos Port.
Yes.
One of the contentions was, how do we share the revenue? I've just told you now that the revenue down south
was
is
more
always
than
more.
that of the north.
Always more.
Profits were being declared.
Okay.
So now, for even development, they say, right? You guys are too far ahead. Can we catch up? So for even development, we need your money
From the south,
to
pump it a little bit into the north.
do roads, do schools, do this thing. And again, contradiction here. Lugard was doing everything to ensure that the north is not contaminated.
What does that mean?
What it means is these southerners are too heady. So you allow them to mingle too much with these guys, they will contaminate them.
But right from the onset, the British had this suspicion about the South, that because of the education and
Is this
whatever,
suspicion?
that they will not be easy to manage.
The reality is, it's not going to be very easy to hold down the type of people that Southerners are.
Maybe southwest precisely.
Southerners generally, the Southwest.
Yes. Mhm.
They are encountering people that can talk.
Because
in
of the
Southwest,
education.
because of the level of education they have. And again, don't forget that when the free slaves came, right? They came to the port,
Lagos.
which is Lagos. And these are guys that have lived with you. They are guys that have... I was talking with somebody just this morning who is based in UK. And he was telling me that what annoys him is the type of people we are interviewing and relying on their opinion. These are the type of people that don't amount to anything when they were together in classroom. And he mentioned one or two people, the names that many of us are shouting today. He said, this one was my classmate. That if he sees him now, he will bow. But when any of them, because of the color of their skin anyway, and because they've had this edge, okay, so the British don't trust particularly Yorubas.
Okay, they were so edgy. Who are these foremost figures? Okay, so history will tell us of Shapara Williams, the likes of Awolowo. Who are the major players?
Who was Awolowo? No, Awolowo was not even there in the picture.
At that time.
At that
At
time.
that time, he was too young. He was not in the picture.
The emergence of Awolowo is another topic.
He's a different story. Awolowo was not there. Hubert Macaulay,
About Macaulay.
right? Shapara Williams that you are talking about, and all these guys. Some of them are already practicing as lawyers, even in England. The Akitola Williams of this world. What do you want to tell them? The first African chartered accountant. The first African to own a firm of chartered accountant. Who was recruiting Britons to come and work under him. So these are guys that, educationally, we sat in the same class. Some of them went to war with some of these guys. So you became a captain, I became a captain in war. You want to come here and be telling me what? So those were the issues. Let me say the Yorubas and the people particularly at the coast, the free slaves, were a thorn in their flesh.
Can that be a reason why Little Thin sometimes said the West may probably secede? That if not properly managed, if Britain does not properly manage these people, they can properly secede.
The idea of which group will secede has only been there. In fact, the first set of people that made the move that they are not interested were the Northerners.
Yes.
Right? They felt there is no way that they can cohabit, sort of, with these guys. And it's clear, our worldviews differ totally. But notwithstanding, if you see an average Northerner, I'm not talking of the power mongers, you see an average Southerner, I'm not talking of the power mongers, right? We are all level-headed. We interact. We can work together. The point is, how do we turn idiots to tribemen? How do we turn tribemen to citizens? The Greek philosophy classified people of a society into three. There are idiots, there are tribesmen, and there are citizens. So the challenge now is, how do we turn idiots? Idiots are people who think nothing but themselves. It's I, me, mine. Those are idiots. People, the tribemen are people who are thinking only my tribe, only my community. Then the citizens are the people who are thinking of humanity. We belong to the same human race. Okay? So we've not been able to translate an average Hausa man to become a Nigerian. We've not been able to translate an average Yoruba man to become a Nigerian. We've not been able to translate an average Ijo, Igbo, Bogu people to become Nigerians. So, like I will say, Britain created Nigeria, but nobody has been able to create Nigerian.
Now, let's look at what Tafawa Balewa said in 1957, that these entities are different culturally, socially, educationally. So how do you...
Nobody is in doubt. Even till today, nobody is in doubt that we are different. But is that bad? No. 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 It's our ability to, just like I said, to translate idiots to tribemen to citizens.
Can that be achieved?
It's achievable. Human race is about your interest and my interest married together. There is something in you that I need. There is something in me that you need. So our ability to identify those needs, right? And say, what does an average Hausa man need? What does an average Igbo man need? Economically, let's look at it. We can say, what does any human being need? You need sound health. You need good economy. For you to have good economy, you must trade in something. So what do you have that I need? You have atarodo. I have cocoa. Bring your atarodo, I give you cocoa. So we can work together. There is nothing actually wrong in our diversity.
But perhaps there are questions that are yet to be answered.
E.g.,
you know, okay, so you talked about the fact that mutual suspicion is still there. It started years ago, and we've not been able to build that trust. And so the inability to build the trust is still haunting us.
Because your interest is in conflict with my interest. For God's sake, whoever sat down to do, let me be very clear now, whoever sat down to do Land Use Act, what's the meaning?
The 1978
is dispossessive, is to dispossess people of their right.
But that came in during the Obasanjo administration.
I don't care where it comes from. During the military.
Yes.
Sir, let me tell you this. The fact that we are of the same mom does not mean you can protect my interest. So that Obasanjo, maybe you want to say he's a Yoruba man.
Of course, yes.
I'm not saying no. But what interest? What do I have actually? Some of you will be saying it's our fatherland, it's our motherland. Have you been hearing that before?
Yes.
Where is that land that has been taken off you?
But people are still able to lay claim. You know, vesting the ownership of land in the federal government, for instance, that's the crux of the 1978 Land Use Act. Is it a bad idea in the first place?
I can tell you that I can guess why it was done, but there are better ways of doing it. You don't need to dispossess me of my. Is the beginning of. Okay. Is the beginning of exploitative policies. The mineral resources that is on this ground now, if you are in US they find oil in this building. Is the owner of this building that bought that land originally that owns the oil.
Now let's look at some of the statements made by founding fathers we want to see. Awolowo said, Nigeria does not even, there is no nation called Nigeria.
It's a
geographical expression.
But then it's not the first to say. The guy that took over from Palmer, the guy that took over from Lugard, I said, Palmer,
yes.
It was Palmer that first said it, that there is no need forcing these guys together, that what you have is a geographical expression which does not connote anything. So, yeah, you guys are ascribing it to Awolowo, but Awolowo only echoed what Palmer said.
But Azikiwe almost said the same thing, that
everybody agreed. You see, I think we shouldn't belabor this.
Yes.
I don't think you find an intelligent 11-year-old boy or girl that does not know that there is something wrong with this country. And how does it start? We have this mutual distrust. Maybe the first thing we should do is to agree that I'm a human being. I have children, I have grandchildren. How I treated my child when my child was 7 is not the way I will treat him when he's 27.
Maybe this program will help us highlight some of these challenges, promoting these differences. So you are talking of the fact that, you know, the North was interested, or the colonial masters were interested in Lagos port. You didn't land on that. I'm interested.
I wouldn't know. Everybody's interested. You are interested in Lagos, right? So I certainly don't know what you are interested in. The idea really is this. Every human being, by nature, at least for the level of our development, find a way of attaching himself to a particular land.
We are wired that way.
Human being is constructed that way by God. You find a Briton, the first thing that he knows is, I'm a Briton. He may be born in Ibadan, he may be born in Kano, but his spirit is attached to Britain. And that's why I use the word land. You are attached to the land. You are attached to the land. Right? So, and for you to look at your land, you must look at your economy. Everything you do is either from your brain or from the land. Combination of the two make you prosperous. You are able to link your brain to your land. You become prosperous. The Lagos that everybody is interested in is not the spelling of the name that interests them. It's the port there.
The economic viability of the place.
And because the port there has developed so many type of economy, if I'm roasting corn, if that's the only thing I can do, I can prosper when I get to Lagos. Better than if I'm roasting corn in Ilorin, Ibadan, or where. We are all roasting corn. But because the port has attracted so many people, so that I can no longer provide for my own need, I will need to rely on you. So for transportation, I rely on you. For my food, I rely on you. You will make something out of it because you want to prosper. Is that true? So everybody wants to prosper, and there is nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is respect me. Know that who owns this land, give him his due.
But we are back to the same issue of this Lagos. The first 2-3 ministers of Lagos were northerners. That should say something.
Because they have the backing of Britain. Britain held on to Lagos City.
Lagos City Protectorate.
No, Lagos City.
Lagos Colony.
Well, let's say Lagos. Britain held on to it. They didn't even allow Royal Niger Company to have it. Britain itself, the government, held on to it because they want to be in charge of transporting slaves, transporting anything. When you want to import, when you want to export, you have to go through that place. And somehow the place was already developing. They brought the free slaves to the place so they can get people
who are
clerks,
lettered,
who are lettered,
yes.
lawyers, accountants, and all those. So the place was already coming up. Yaradua became
Minister
the minister of Lagos.
Affairs.
Ribadu
Yes.
was next. And I don't know who is in charge of your port since then.
Can we now say that is why this talk is going around that Lagos is no man's land?
That's one of the greatest insults. I've told you, every human being is attached to a land.
Yes.
It's the greatest insult. Okay, so did Lagos just drop? What's the meaning of no man's land? All these things are words that we better just don't, because you are attacking the sensibility of some people. No, I don't think I want to be discussing such.
So it appears that in the spirit of, I wouldn't want to say interpreting the Constitution, but it appears
Which Constitution?
it has
No, I just want to know.
the 1999 Constitution. We've had Constitution. Last week we spent time tracing the history of, constitutional development in Nigeria. we still have one, though many people are complaining about it. But we have 1999 Constitution as amended. And even in the 1979 Constitution, the 1999 Constitution, some constitutions were worked on by, Babangida's administration. We've always had a constitution.
Okay.
And it appears that the Federal Capital Territory, which Lagos had been at some point in time, the constitution wants to give it a special status. Maybe that's why people will always say, like the Baggies who own Abuja today, technically, they are complaining, they are shouting out that they are being displaced and all that.
There is no need for anybody to displace anybody. Again, it's because we take each other for granted for too long. You go to Abuja, Abuja didn't drop. Right? And every beautiful lady will attract suitors. If for whatever reason you go to Abuja, why don't you identify the people that were there before you? At least you met some people there.
It appears the government doesn't want to do that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, so when you look at the fate that befell Lagos, the same is
befalling
Abuja gradually.
What?
And so it will take every election cycle to remind us that, no, this place actually belongs to some persons.
Where you people built this your studio? I don't know how you got it. Let's just leave it at that. You paid some people, meaning you recognize that for you to use that place,
There are some owners.
I need to do something to appease you. That's all. And once I give you that respect, I pay you. What else? If government, I don't really know where you are driving at, but if government is saying Abuja is this, why not recognize the fact that Abuja belongs to some people? Pay them compensation, pay them whatever. And I don't think that is lacking. I think they paid people. So how do you say they don't recognize them?
In the scheme of things today, you look at the fact that when you talk of Abuja, the popular Abuja that people know, so people will talk of, Garki, they talk of, not many people understand that that is not part of Abuja, that there are some settlers that occupy Abuja.
The idea, I don't know, I don't want us to derail, because you are talking about the foundation. The idea of Abuja on its own and the satellite towns, the communities around
the Kubuas,
is the normal thing. Yes. If you build something that can attract people, I've just told you now that the only thing that Lagos is having is that it has a port. That we attract a doctor that cannot roast his own yam, roast his own corn. So somebody need to roast yam for him. So because a doctor is there, he will attract people who will supply him food. Because people are there, they need transportation. He will attract people who will supply. So the place will develop. It's the same thing with Lagos.
Why is Port Harcourt not generating this kind of controversy? After all, there's a port there that everybody is now focused on.
There are
Lagos.
There are ports. You don't want to compare Lagos port.
That is also an outlet to the world.
No. See, okay, again, one good thing that Yorubas have that is working against them is
it's a good thing.
yeah, it's a good one, but it's working against them. They are liberal. Not every community is liberal. There are communities where you can't buy land. And like I've told you, every man is attached to land. So even if you are successful in a particular place, you want to build there. Not everybody that is building in Ibadan is from Ibadan now. Not everybody that is building in Zaria is from Zaria. Right? You want to build. But there are communities that won't allow you to do that, so you won't stay there. But in Lagos now, I'm not sure if you can't even buy Sanwo-Olu's house. If the price is right, they sell anything.
Now, fortunately, we gained independence on October 1, 1960. 2023, 63 years of independence. With this faulty foundation, with this wrong foundation, with this false foundation, where are we now as
we are in a state of flux. We are in a state of flux, a dangerous flux. We are in a situation that if care is not taken, when you swing something too much, something must give.
Have we realized that?
I want to imagine your station realize that that's why you are doing this type of a program, so that we will draw ourselves to tell ourselves that this thing cannot last forever. The military came and did quite a lot of damage.
Just 58 years yesterday.
Yakubu Gowon.
Yes.
2017, while at the book launch of General Bamai, said something. He said the military intervention in politics is a misadventure. Yakubu Gowon. Just last week, IBB, I don't know if I need to spell that out.
Yes. Ibrahim Badamasu Babangida.
Good. Said the inability of the military to ensure federalism is the beginning of our problem.
So while speaking with Laolu Akonde,
yeah.
So now, having recognized
so
that,
all of us know that because we deviated from the foundation, even as faulty as it could be, we perhaps would have been able to manage ourselves. Why do you need 12 states? Why do you need 36 states? But we are there.
But the 12 states were occasioned by the circumstance and the movement.
The circumstance is no longer there.
So with the circumstance no longer there, we should revert? Is that what you're saying?
Even if you will need those 12 states,
yes.
Even if you will need 36 states, you must have viable, independent, autonomous states. I can't be depending on you. It won't bring respect. Let's start from there. I can't be depending on you, and there is no state, there is no local government in this country. I think we are the most blessed land in the world. If you know the level of mineral resources that is available in Zamfara, the entire African continent can depend on that to live. In Zamfara state only.
But we still have this feeding bottle approach.
We still have this beggarly approach.
We go to
You don't
FAC
have to
meeting
go
and
to,
to go
because
to Abuja.
nobody
monthly.
has been able to tell you to look inward.
Okay, so we've just been informed now that our time is fast spent. In case you want to join the conversation, the numbers to call for those in Nigeria are 0916 104 7698, 0811 052 6487, 0902 280 9257. For those who would clamor for the solution, you see, we are on a journey, as I said last week. The next 12 weeks, we are still on this program, right? So it's a program that will gain momentum. So I know many people are talking of the solution. We will get there, but let's understand what the problems are before we begin to talk of, what the solutions will be. Now, if you're outside Nigeria, +234 0907 072 0980. These are the numbers. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I am Primate Shola Shitu calling from Wigbo in Ogun State.
Primate, welcome.
I want to appreciate the managing director of this firm and our Baba Femi Adebaderu and the wonderful presenter of the year, Anu Omoride, and the entire crew. When this program came up last week, my media group took it up. And in one of their remarks, they made it clear to me that before I start partaking, I should remember that that program is becoming a storytelling program. And it's taking us back to the past, remembering us of the bitter past. I want to suggest this morning as I listen that this program is called Effect. And because it's called like that, I want us to look into what I have been preaching at IBR anytime and now. And that is solutions. Now, if we continue to take us back to what has happened in the past, it may jeopardize the success we are driving to. I want to appeal, if we can really bring out discourse that will tell us what we need to do. We have been doing it this morning and I appreciate that. But I want us to take it to directly discussing what we can do to make it work right.
Okay,
problems.
That's a good observation. But Primate, you must.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Primate. But you must understand the fact that many of us actually do not understand.
not even
we
know
really
the
do not
story.
know. Okay, so if we are talking of differences, right? What are the causes? What caused it? That's what we're trying to establish, all right, on the program this morning. As regards solution, we will definitely get there. We will talk about solutions. Primate, you can be rest assured. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Deacon Olabi.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for answering Baba Situ from Ijebu. Some of us still need this history to know how far where we have started, where we are going. We still need it. Thank you, sir. But for this morning, sir, I want to quickly say this. Number one, inside is not on the Facebook. But with the introductory analysis of Deacon Olabi this morning, I want to believe that the British interest in Nigeria is the development of their country. Why the peace and development of this country is not so much paramount in their mind at the beginning of the independence, as the Deacon has just said. If I may suggest, sir, though we are still going far, I still believe that. If I may suggest, sir, that illegal marriage is an illegal marriage. Is the marriage not due for divorce, sir? Good morning.
All right, thank you so much for your time on the program this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
You're
You're welcome.
I really appreciate this program. What I want to know is that we need a solid foundation so that we know where we support it. When we are young, we are being blessed to read about history about Medicine, Wilberforce, and we forgot all these Kosoko and Flavor State. And that one cannot be done because it's what the colonial masters want to pass to us. That is why they are leading us astray. Instead of reading our own history, they are reading foreign history. This foundation must be laid so that when we build on it, it will not be weak again. I really appreciate it. Let us start from here so that when the solution comes, we will know that we are building a proper and a good foundation for our future. God will bless our God.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Yerinde. Hello, good morning.
John Okura.
Mr. John Okorafor, you're welcome.
Good morning. Good morning in the house.
Good morning.
Now, we are not the only country that British colonized. But our own problem here is that we fail to understand ourselves. Look, all of us have history, even in your family. But how do you work towards it? Up till now, 100 years ago, up till now, we are still searching for one thing. And that thing that we are searching is love. We have not found love within each other. If we like, let us break into 100 pieces without love, nothing. I am telling you, because that problem then is still now, which is love. It's lacking among us, even up to today. When election comes, they will be telling you you are this, you are that, you are that, and this. But after election, they will go. All of them will go to and become they'll be working together. So that is it. Love is the only thing that will see us through. And good morning.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Okorafor, for your time on the program this morning. Okay, so in the past, we will just come, boom, we'll go straight into it, make suggestions. And of course, it seems not to be making, enough impact. But this time around, let's look back. Many people today talk about Awolowo. Who is the man Awolowo? Okay, so you just heard on the program today that this struggle, right, didn't actually start with Awolowo. Some persons actually started it. Awolowo joined along the way. We really want to just look back a bit, then before we begin to talk of, the solution. In coming weeks, of course, there are solutions on the table.
So, Dikin Oladejo, maybe I should just put this to you and
as we wrap up.
Have we been able to manage our diversities?
Simply, we've not been able to, because essentially we are different. I don't think anybody would debate that. And that's why, going forward, people who are looking for solution, we have proposals to make. Can Nigeria, General Abacha gave us one legacy. He insisted that he will deal with Nigeria as 6 geographical zones. So, can we go back to the 6 geographical zones? Have 6 autonomous regions. A symmetric federalism where no region is above the other. We will be equally represented at the center, right? Each region will have the same number of people representing them. Each region will know the population of the region. You don't have to count me. I know how to count my family. And so long as it's the same number of people, the manipulation of revenue formula, manipulation of population, all this, is because of representation at the center.
But when you are equally represented,
when you are, even if you are 10 million in your
1 million,
and I am just 10,000, the same number of people that is representing me. If, let's say, Western region is 100 million, Northern region, Northwest region is 10 trillion. If we agree that only 10 people will come and represent each region with your 10 trillion, if you like, bring Benin Republic people to come and join Southwest, is your headache. the same number of people will represent you. If we have a situation that your resources, I've told you before, that your land belongs to you, okay, the resources in your area belongs to you. If we have that, all this wahala will be off, and I will respect you. I need yam from you, I come and beg you, or I come and pay for you, whichever way. If you like, you give me yam. If you like, you don't give me. If you don't give me yam and I must eat, I look for something else to eat or look for elsewhere. But the situation where the oil in Southwest is our oil, the gold in Zamfara belongs to Zamfara. Come on.
All right. Some persons, I think it was one of our callers that said that Insight is not on Facebook. No, it is. The only thing is where you're going to search for is different. Go to IATV. You will see it live there. But in Impact Africa Television, that is where you're going to see this program. It's being streamed live. You're going to watch it live there. Then in a couple of minutes, okay, so Olusegun Tanwole, I'm sure you've been searching IBR. Okay, Insight will be streamed live on Impact Africa Television on Facebook. But in a couple of minutes, about 3-4 minutes after each edition of the program or each episode, you will be able to, watch it on IBR. I think it's just the best place to, call it a wrap on the program today. To those who are looking for suggestion, solution, sincerely speaking, this program will provide some solution, and I think one of the solutions had been dropped this morning, but we don't want to go, the normal route. Let's look back a bit, understand what the problem, because it appears we really do not have a grasp of the problem. If we do not understand what the problems are, talking about solutions may just, be like wasting of time and something like that. So, Femi.
Thank you so much, Anu. The point has been made. We are going somewhere. It's a long journey. It's a long process. We want to begin from the beginning, as they say. We must establish where we are. Where are we coming from? Where are we now? And where we are going? So it's a process. Just stay tuned to us, and you'll see that by and large we get to the process and we'll get to solutions. Prime Minister, please rest assured that the solutions are coming, and to all our viewers and listeners back home.
I've even given a hint.
You've given a hint, yes, you gave a hint this morning. So the solutions are coming, and we just get there. We get there. We must establish something that will take us there. So, on behalf of our production crew, Tunji Adeyefa, Dr. Olalude, Olusegun, Victor, Godwin, and everybody back room, want to appreciate Dikinowo Oladejo, a public affairs analyst and commentator, for coming. We believe you'll be around again next week when we do call upon you to come and do this. And to my co-presenter, Anoluwapo Omoribe, thank you for doing this job. My name is Adefemi Makwadero.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.